Take a look at this photograph of our planet from space. If an alien explorer arrived in our solar system and saw this view, they probably wouldn't call our home Earth. From this angle, almost everything you see is water. If you measure the entire surface of the globe, water covers 71% of it. All the mountains, valleys, and cities we live on have to fit into that remaining 29%. While one connected system, humans divide the water into 5 oceans. The Pacific covers a third of the globe. The Atlantic forms an S shape. The Indian is named after a country. The Southern Ocean freezes at the bottom, and the Arctic rests on top. These vast stretches of water are the primary feature of our planet. Their currents and temperatures dictate the weather patterns that make life possible on the dry 29% of the Earth. Let's look at the dry land, divided into 7 continents: Asia, Africa, North America, South America, Antarctica, Europe, Australia. But labels vary. Europe and Asia share a landmass, often combined as Eurasia. Other cultures group North and South America together. Depending on who is counting, our world has 7, 6, 5, or even 4 continents. The physical land hasn't changed. We use the idea of a continent as a cultural and historical tool to organize the world in our minds. Look at this aerial photograph. Just as this massive white continental ice sheet breaks apart into floating icebergs, rocky landmasses can also exist as smaller, isolated pieces surrounded by water. These are islands. Islands come in many forms. Some are giant chunks of rock that separated from a larger continent millions of years ago, like Greenland. Others are much smaller, built entirely from scratch by violent underwater volcanoes pushing hot lava to the ocean surface, or by tiny marine animals slowly building coral reefs over thousands of years. Whether it is a sprawling, populated continent or a tiny volcanic island, human civilization is built on isolated patches of rock, and our boundaries are drawn by the water around us. Here, the ocean acts as a giant weather engine. The sun heats the surface of the water, causing it to rapidly evaporate into the air. That moisture gathers into heavy clouds, which the wind pushes over the coastlines to drop rain on the continents. There is a catch. 97% of all the water on Earth is salty. That leaves a remarkably small fraction of fresh water available in our lakes, rivers, and underground reserves for land-based life to survive on. When that oceanic weather engine runs too hot, it creates severe hazards. This satellite image shows a massive tropical cyclone spinning over warm ocean water. As it moves toward land, it brings heavy rains and destructive winds. Deep on the ocean floor, sudden movements create a different hazard. Violent underwater earthquakes or volcanic eruptions can physically displace millions of gallons of water, generating the massive and destructive waves called tsunamis. This photograph shows the devastating aftermath of the 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami. When waves this powerful crash into coasts, flooding washes away entire towns. To protect coastal communities, scientists across different continents collaborate to build advanced tracking technology. Here, a researcher analyzes a digital tsunami threat model for the Indian Tsunami Early Warning System, detecting deep-sea earthquakes to alert cities before waves arrive. The ocean provides the steady rainfall that grows our food and fills our rivers, but it is also the source of our most severe natural threats. If you look below the surface, you'll see the ocean is a bustling biological habitat. This photograph of a coral reef shows a vibrant, densely populated ecosystem teeming with life. Some of the most important life forms in the water are invisible to the naked eye. This microscope image reveals phytoplankton, tiny marine plants that drift near the sunlit surface of the water. By turning sunlight into energy, these tiny organisms produce more than half of the oxygen in our atmosphere. Every second breath you take is provided by the ocean. However, human activity is putting this vital life support system under immense pressure. We are removing millions of tons of fish faster than they can reproduce. And as you can see in this photograph, we are replacing them with millions of tons of plastic waste. Because the world's oceans are actually one giant connected body of water, plastic dropped on one coastline doesn't stay there. Local pollution gets caught in global currents and eventually washes up on every continent. You can see an acknowledgement of our shared world in this diagram showing the 5 Olympic rings. They were originally chosen to represent the major inhabited continents coming together, linked across the waters. Understanding the layout of our continents and oceans helps us see how every part of our world is linked together.